Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Children in middle school, that's an entirely different solar system altogether. So how can parents and children survive this alien invasion? Take a look.
Starting middle school is like entering a different planet, both for your child and for you, says internationally known psychologist and parenting expert, Dr. Kevin Leman. He says it's a time when peer pressure, technology, and hormones wreak havoc in a child's life and damage their relationship with mom and dad. But Dr. Leman says the changes and challenges of middle school don't have to leave your family in chaos. In his book, Planet Middle School, Dr. Leman shows you how to help your child survive and thrive in the often turbulent years of middle school.
Well, Kevin Leman is here again, and we welcome you back to the 700 Club. This is where the action begins, isn't it, for kids?
It is. If you love the idea of a root canal or bungee jumping, you will love the middle school years.
Why are they so challenging? What's the issue?
Well, they get weird. This little kid who cuddled up to you all of a sudden is rolling their eyes. They love the word whatever, and they literally diss you. They ignore you. They don't want to admit they have a parent. And so to survive this, you have to be able to roll with the punches. And these kids will throw you all kinds of curveballs.
Well, and you have so much sound wisdom in your book, but the bottom line, as always with our kids, seems to be communication. So how do we keep that rolling?
Well, this is interesting because in the book I say, don't ask your kids questions.
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
So then what?
If you say to a kid, honey, I'm interested in your opinion on this, what does that tell a kid?
You care about their opinion.
Care about them. And so you let kids talk. Now, kids are going to say stupid, dumb things. Now, when your kid says something totally outrageous, it's totally wrong. What do most of us parents say? We correct them. They say, well, that's not true. This is the truth. Yeah. You'd be so smart to look at them and say, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
It's the same advice I give to women who are married. Us husbands are completely capable of saying very stupid things. And when your husband says something very stupid, you just look at him and go, wow, interesting.
Can we borrow that?
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It's all about relationships. Now, Christian parents in particular, they love rules.
Yeah.
You can have all the rules you want, but it's all about relationship.
Yeah.
So when a kid gets in the car and turns on music that you absolutely hate, and it is so loud, what's the appropriate thing to say? If you read Planet Middle School, what does chubby psychologist Kevin Leman tell you? Look over your kid and say, honey, turn that up. And the kid will look at you and say, what? Turn that up. And then, make a fool of yourself, bump around a little bit.
Yeah.
And
join the party.
Hey, tell me something. Do you have a CD on that? I'd like to take that and share that with your mother, who's the choir director at church. You get the message there? So we're keeping kids off balance. We're making sure we have fun. And,
and not passing judgment on where they're at. Is some of that because, and let's go back to Christian parents, is some of that because we're so afraid of how they're going to turn out that if we don't take every moment of vested interest and make our point that somehow we're going to lose them?
Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. But I think we plant the seeds of rebellion when we become authoritarian and say, hey, you listen up. You're going to do what I tell you to do. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. Now, we all grew up with that. The problem is that's authoritarianism. Yeah. Now, I'm not a preacher, but I know this. Is God an authoritarian? Does he grab us by the scruff of the neck, twist our earlobe, and say, you will do this, you will do that? No. His holy word says, every knee shall what? Bow. Mm-hmm. So trying to be an authority without being an authoritarian is difficult today. Mm-hmm. And parents give kids way too many things. Kids grow up too early. The cell phone. I call it the new Goliath.
Yeah. And
parents are stupid enough. In fact, let me use a clinical term. They're nuts. They put these cell phones in the hands of 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, which is crazy.
And yet there is some value in a child having the ability to communicate, but you say don't give them the bells and whistles iPhone.
Give them a dumb phone.
Yeah.
But, I think the reason why 5 Leman kids are not incarcerated today or dead because we chose not to kill them and we didn't UPS them to a far-off land is we made sure the Leman family was fun, that our home was fun. We invited kids into our home, which meant we bought pizza, we paid money, and we engaged the kids. And every kid's different. you have to believe in them. Yeah. I wanted no part of God early in my life, and yet my mom prayed for me every day of my life.
Do you think, Kevin, as you're talking about the parents' role in this, you know, even as you're talking about the cell phone, can I say, I see a lot of parents with kids who are with them, but the parent is on the cell phone unengaged with the child. So by our very behavior, we're teaching them not to connect.
Exactly. And, you know, things haven't changed in that perspective. Kids are taking notes from you, parent, on how you communicate with each other, how you talk to each other. But again, I think fun is such an important thing. We do 2 cruises a year, and I tell people in churches, if you're a fun person, we'd love to have you come on our cruise down the Caribbean. If you're not a fun person, we'd prefer you stay home. But here's a question for Terry. Do you and your husband hang out with people that you're uncomfortable with?
No.
Then why would you expect your middle school kid who feels uncomfortable about herself want to hang out with you? What is the one person your child wants to be in middle school? That's the question. Yeah. Anybody other than herself or himself.
Yeah.
So it's a time where kids are really searching, and they need that umbilical cord.
Yes.
That it's sort of like the astronaut in space back to the mothership, and they're floating in this black hole. They need that home to be a place of respite, not a place where they get clobbered.
Well, and Kevin, also, these years, the middle school years, are usually the years where we really start honing in on grades, on report cards, on performance. And, you know, that can put a lot of pressure on a kid. And how many times do we see that the kid who wasn't that great in middle school winds up being awesome?
Yeah, I was one of those kids. I graduated 4th and bottom of my class in high school. I had a mom who prayed for me every day. Oh yeah, I put my report card in my freshman year of high school is in this book, and people can see for themselves, I'm not stretching it. I flunked about everything there was to flunk. And
how did that turn around for you?
Well, I was a teacher. Interesting, I just opened a school called Leman Academy of Excellence in Tucson. We were just voted by Reader's Choice the best charter school in Tucson, Arizona. We just opened our doors August 3rd.
Wow.
We're going to put them all over the country. But we have high expectations for kids, that you will respect yourself, you will respect your teacher, you respect your classmate. And so we talk about being kind to one another, and we're seeing the fruits of our labors now. And so parents, I'm telling you, you can get through the middle school years, but it's all about relationships. And Planet Middle School will help you guide this bobsled of life through all those curves.
Well, yeah, you also talk about the significance of teaching your child to be a giver rather than have that entitlement mentality.
You know, if there's a hook in this book, here it is in a sentence. Can you teach your kid to be grateful? Kids today aren't grateful for anything. So get them to service other people in your area, in your community, in your neighborhood, from shoveling snow to you name it. Whatever the season brings, let your kids do it. And here's the key thing, for free, without payment. Kids need that kind of practice.
Boy, it is the truth. You always have so much sound wisdom. We have just skimmed the tip of the whole thing. I want you to get a hold of his book because it's so worth reading. And those of you who have children in middle school, you already know you need this. You can get more great tips. It's called Planet Middle School. It's available nationwide wherever books are sold. And watch for the Leman Academy of Excellence.
We're putting them all over the country.
Awesome.
And the golden rule of high tech, don't text or put anything in print you wouldn't want your grandmother to read.
I like that. For all of us, not just our kids. Thank you, Kevin. It's great to have you here again.